I have been thinking about sharing some thoughts, creating a video, and just sharing my train of thought. And now that 2024 is almost finished, I think it's a good time to just share some ideas, some thoughts I have in my head. I was checking today morning actually because after 3 years of teaching Jiu Jitsu full time, and I was curious, in how many lessons I have given so far. And it's about 2,500 lessons, over 2,500 lessons. And yeah, lots of things change when from the first day you you teach as a full-time jiu-jitsu coach to after 3 years, of course, your methods evolve, change, your knowledge also increases. Now we have experience, and I have I have seen lots of progress and changes and things that you realize that you do and realize that when they can be done in a different way, it can be done better or at least differently. This, of course, the things they improve over time. The more experienced you are, the better you are able to do something after 3 years, then 5 years, and 10 years, and after 10 years of teaching, for instance, then you are a very experienced person. But 3 years is actually I'm happy. I'm happy with how this has been evolving, and overall the level of the students and how people are progressing and the changes I can already see. It satisfies me a lot. Things that I noticed, I see, and I want to talk about is managing expectations, because I can see that sometimes people, both adults and children more related to parents as well, the expectations in terms of progress, uh, e- expectations are sometimes not aligned with reality, because uh, I'm this way as well. I'm a blue sky guy. So if I start doing something, I think that in 1 month or 2 months, I'm able to do this, and that. But sometimes the reality is not. It's different. And if we get to jiu-jitsu thinking that in 6 months, let's say, training 2 days per week, 2 sessions per week, how much you're going to be able to actually learn or to actually progress and improve. And it is less than what you think. You see, we have to be realistic, because sometimes we get, especially martial arts, competitive sports, people come with the idea of competing, getting into competition as soon as possible without previous experience. Of course, someone without any previous experience, and training for 6 months and going to compete and expecting, depending on the competition, on the how the level is and how many participants, contenders are. Um, Sometimes it's not very realistic in thinking that being sure that we are going to podium, to go to podium. Sometimes it happens, and people, and it's good. Competition is good in the way, because people then go to compete and realize that it requires more time, more effort, more dedication. Now, for parents as well, children We work on developing motor skills, coordination, gross fine motor skills, coordination, and then proving and learning Jiu Jitsu itself. And it is for most of children, most of the majority of children, it is unrealistic to be expecting big changes within a 6 month period. It's unrealistic. Most children. We are talking about learning new patterns of movements, learning techniques, developing body strength, sometimes has to be developing coordination, balance, and the things they take lots of time. And I understand that there is the school year, and the parents they think on school year's terms, which is let's say September, from September to June or July, and school year. And okay, I'm gonna put a child here for the school year, and I'm expecting this and this and this to happen. And then at the end of this school year, this few months, what, how much has a child improved? Of course, sometimes the child comes once a week, twice a week. There's not much progress you, because it requires much more time. Let's let me give an example now that I can we can see it. Children that have been with us for 3 years, and we can see that the progress, pro actual progress, getting the work out of the child, which means that seeing the child starting developing a jiu-jitsu. Let's talk about the child that starts when he or she is 6, 7 years old. Let's say 6, 7, almost 7 years old, and I already have examples of it. We are talking about minimum 2 years, 2 years of training, and then by this after the first year, after what happened? Okay, let's see. Let's 3 months. Let's say what if we can break it down. A child in 3 months, they are just figuring things out in terms of okay, how does it work? What are the rules? What is to be expected? 3 months, 6 months, you know, motor patterns they're being developed and being created. There's an understanding of what the game is, what jiu-jitsu is in 6 months. After 1 year, yes, you see the kids with little bit of understanding. However, there are certain movements, certain techniques, movements that the body is not ready yet. And you're talking about the majority of kids. Of course, there are differences there. Some people needs more time. Some people need less time to learn a specific thing. But on average, based on my observations, 1 year. 1 year, have a child doing jiu-jitsu, start looking like jiu-jitsu, to say in a way. And after 1.5 years, we start seeing a little bit of performance when they start performance. 2 years is when you start seeing, okay, this kid is doing jiu-jitsu, has his understanding on what is required, has his preferred movements, preferred techniques. 2 years. Then 2 years, yes, we have someone actually performing, starting to perform on average. Um, if a child comes twice a week, yes, you can. I would say that 2 years is when we start seeing changes. Of course, some children they like it so much that they want to come more often, and then you have cases where children they come 3 times per week, and if they can, or if they could, they would even come more often. And then there is where you see progress, faster progress compared with the average. The average is a child coming twice a week, and it is completely fine because you have to take different things into consideration as children having other activities. But what my point is that we need to be very patient because for an adult it requires 1 2 years to have a good understanding, 3 years to start knowing how things are, and children are no different in terms of this time frame. However, they have different challenges because we are talking about developing the body, developing some motor skills that adults don't have to deal with this problem. And of course, children has a different capacity of absorbing information as well. They have a different understanding of the martial arts itself because they learn in a more playful way as a game. However, the time frame is the same. Now, myself, 3 years, and our students, the one that are with us the longest, that they have been with us for 3 years now, right now, a little bit over 3 years now. These children, the ones that come consistently, another thing, consistently, they don't have these breaks, no, don't have long breaks, or sometimes don't have breaks, unnecessary breaks at all. From the third year, I'm talking about the children. Now, from the third to the fifth, fourth, fifth year is when I expect to see performance, to see kids actually, you know, start refining more, refining their jiu-jitsu and developing a style as well. Because the children as well as adults, after a few years, you have the preferred movement because of your body type, before because of your personality. So a style developing, and of course this cool style is depending on our methodology. It heavily influences the overall students style because we are very heavy on taking down, on passing the guard. um, Open guard is something that I don't show as much to children because I have my convictions in terms of what is needed to when they start in the first year, and what is not needed just to be sitting down because humans we walk and we stand and we work on our posture. We work on the posture, up straight posture first, and then we progress gradually going to the ground and then being on our back. So it's something that in the first year we work on throws. Now, discipline is important because I'm patient as well. Adults, it's difficult life, because of life itself. Sometimes they need to have a break, but having realistic expectations for adults, it's extremely important. Okay, what do you want to do? I want just to do something, do a martial arts and have fun and make friends. Okay, great, completely fine. Come on once a week. Come on Fridays. Okay. From time to time, we focus on Jiu-Jitsu is specific for for self-defense, specific for self-defense, not based on competition rules, which is, you know, has its own peculiarities. And I do this mostly on Fridays, at least once a month, once per month I do it. And it's completely fine. Just come once a month or once a week. No, Fridays, Mondays, or whenever you can, and you slowly just have fun. Now I like jiu-jitsu. I want to learn. Okay, people, if you can do twice a week, people come twice a week. Fine, completely fine. Now I want to perform. Now things are different. An adult. Okay, you want to perform. I want to compete. Okay, if you want to compete, being realistic, 2 sessions per week. You know, it's not something that you would be able to perform. Ah, but I can only come twice a week, and can't I go and compete? You can do whatever you want. But if it's your case, you can come once or twice a week, and you have been training for a while, and you want to compete. You just have to be realistic with the outcome, because you can't expect to go to a competition in a bracket with 8 contenders, you plus 7, you training once per week or twice per week without previous experience. We're talking about an adult without previous experience, and be the first guy. Is not as likely as another person in your bracket that is training for is training as long as you have been training, and let's imagine for a whole year, 12 months, for 12 months, and each week this person is training 4 times per week, because it's a volume of hours, volume of dedication, and not only during training, but outside, watching competitions, watching the competitors they like to watch, studying, making notes, no, all these things they add up. And for children, the same thing, the same applies. And children, especially children, because they have many children have competing activities. They are enrolled in more than one activity. So is jiu-jitsu their main activity? And yes, okay. Do they have any other activity during the week? Yes. Well, so this child may come twice a week jiu-jitsu, and once a week goes to another activity. Sometimes happens that children they have 5 activities. It happens. Not very often, but it happens. 3 activities, it happens. 5 activities, something that I have seen. Has 5 activities, 1 activity per week. There's another activity twice a month. Well, so this person will be coming to us once a week. Sometimes we'll miss a lesson. So we're talking about 3 sessions per month, or 4 sessions per month. Okay. So someone with 3 activities, which is something that happens. Okay, it's coming once or twice per week, plus other 2 activities here and there. And now, or the child only does jiu-jitsu, is coming 3 times per week, or even 4 times per week. See the volume of training. And for parents, sometimes they expect the children. Of course, we expect our children to grow and be happy and develop and strive. But then, if I put my child to any martial arts, and I keep my child there from September to June, and I'm taking my child twice a week, once or twice a week, I wouldn't have so much expectation in seeing progress. Take into consideration that motor skills have to be developed, body strength, uh, reaction time, and all these things, plus the activity itself that has to be learned. It's there's not so much progress. I would I I would have to wait for 2 or 3 years to see real progress. I would say more than 2 years. I would say 3 years at least. So if you're talking about this 7 years old child starting jiu-jitsu now, 6 or 7, let's say 7, and for you to see this child actually doing jiu-jitsu, 3 years when the child is 10 years old, 2 times per week. How about the child that can only come once a week? And yes, it's okay. Each person will develop at their own speed. It's completely fine. But myself as parent, I cannot demand. I know I want to see the child progressing as much as the other children. If my child goes once a week, I can't compare my child to the child that goes 3 times per week. And it's not only that, I can't really compare my child against other people because he has his own way of developing. And maybe he might be slow, even if he goes 3 times per week as the other boys or the other girls at the same time period. He may be slower for whatever reason. He may requires more time. He may need more time to develop his balance, his body strength, his coordination. So it's hard to really compare. The best thing, and I keep telling parents, as I tell adults as well, but especially to parents, compare your child against him or herself and give it at least 6 months minimum. And every 6 months you have a look and see how much has the child changed. Because the reason when sometimes the reason the children come is not because they want to perform in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competition. Many of these people, they didn't know about the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu before knowing us. And even after knowing us, it still take them some time to really understand what it is, because it's a novelty. They come because of self-confidence, issues with bullying, uh, some physical to support the development of some specific physical or cognitive characteristic of the child. You see, all these different reasons, or even because something that it's fun, it's a fun activity, so the child wants to do it. So let the child do it. But for all this reason that you want to see any kind of result, it requires time. Imagine, okay, boy to be more, uh, a person, is a fearful person. Let's say, this child, my child, is a bit of a like fearful child. Just for him to be, or her to be more comfortable around other people. Okay, so we need time. Myself as a jiu-jitsu teacher, I need time to work with this person, because for me to know a person, Another human being, it requires lots of time. A child, it requires months to see, to get to know a child. It requires quite a lot of time because I have to see this child over and over, and okay, what's the child's preferences, what's the personality type, what's the things, how can I communicate with this child the best way to communicate, what are the things that they dislike that may trigger them. I have to be careful to not, not to upset. How can I work with the child? Then the same work with the parents. No, I have to communicate with the parents as well and work together. So for me to know a person, it's a month. If I see a child that comes twice a month, yes, over over a period of a year, I get to know this person, but not over a period of a month or even 3 months. I need more time. Someone that comes 3 times per week, yes, of course, you see this person very often. And after a few months, you get to know the person gets to know you, the child has to get to know the teacher and has to trust the teacher. We have to have this mutual trust, you see, and it requires time for the child as well to develop this, this trust with the teacher. So I ask the parents, be patient. And if you have any expectation in terms of now, in terms of performance, for instance, or in terms of progress, whatever, by 2 years have passed and I'm doing everything, the child is going, but it's not progressing as much as I expected. And I bring in the child and X times per week or per month, and it's not, no, I think that the problem, we may be expecting too much. We may have expectations that are not aligned with the child's reality. Maybe the person needs more time. We're talking about a child, someone that is developing as a human being. And we put the burden of expectations on the person, the child. And, you know, if the child realize and understand that no, my parents, they expect me to perform in a way or to do something in a certain way, and I am not able. Have I failed as a child? Do I feel like a failure? We have to be very careful with it. That's why I say, just let the child be. They're going to learn when they have to learn. But other kids, other kids, they are the kids. They're not my kids. I can't compare my child with another child. No, my child may be fasting, learning something else, not Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And what? Whose fault is it? The child's fault? My fault because my genetics? The coach's fault because the methodology? Of course, if you're not happy with the methodology, you have to find a place where you trust the coach, where you trust the teacher, when you trust the methodology. Okay, because if you're not aligned with the method, if you're not aligned with it, then of course. So this is important as well. It's an important point. Myself as a parent, I have my child, and I'm gonna take him to a martial art. Of course, I'm gonna go to okay, who's the person teaching? Like, what's the type of methodology? What's the approach? How is the group like? What's the sensei's temperament? How does the sensei work with the children, deals with the children? Am I happy with it? No, I'm not happy. Do I agree with the methods? No, I don't agree. So my child is not going there because I have to believe in the system. Okay, I went to the martial arts, the sensei, okay, I agree with the sensei, I agree with the methodology, I agree with everything. Okay, so I can trust, but then I have to fully trust. Okay, I can fully trust. George, my son is yours. You take care of my son, and that's it. Talk to you. We talk to each other in a few years' time and see how it goes, and that's it. And over time, you can have the communication. See, okay, how is the boy progressing, and what can I myself as a father do better to contribute? There's nothing to be done, but I can't expect my son to compare to the other kids and say, oh, he's not progressing as the other kids. Then the question is he going there? Is he interested? Is the child motivated? Ah, yes, everything seems to be fine. He's going often. He seems to be motivated. He's training, and I'm supporting, but he's still slower in getting. He's not progressing as other children that I have identified in the training. It's okay. He needs more time. He needs his own time to develop. That's it. That's it. And then when we have this approach, we can uh, save ourselves, save the children, save ourselves as parents, coach of lots of suffering because we know how to manage expectations. And the children as well, sometimes we have to have a conversation because they expect things, they have their own expectations. No, I have a Jiu Jitsu is a competitive martial art. You have to impose your will on other person and the children as well. They oh, I'm struggling. I'm not winning. Then we have to help them to understand that it's not only about it, not only about winning, and that we compare ourselves against ourselves in different time periods, of course. But we compare ourselves against other people as well. It's normal, especially when you compete. You go to a competition, you're not, you go there to win. Of course, the mindset is to win, but you have to accept this case. In a competitive setting, you have to accept the outcome as well. That sometimes might be might be my day, it might be my day, and other times it might not be my day. So, but what's important is understanding the school's methodology, the teachers or senseis approach, the culture, the school's culture, a gym, a school, a martial arts club has a culture itself. As a parent, liking it, agreeing with it, trusting it, and then having patience and discipline and consistency. Consistency is very important. Okay, the agreement is 2 times per week. So 2 times per week, no excuses. 3 times per week, no excuses. Once a week, no excuses. And for how long? For as long as it takes. That's it. For a very long time.